brain ideas. I'm just about to listen. The subjects I want to talk about again is religion again. It's a massive part of my life at the minute. Just the research that I'm doing, what I'm interested in, all the different talks I'm listening to, what I'm reading, what I'm practicing, etc. And I'm just about to listen to a debate. I forget her name. Her name is versus Richard Dawkins. I don't know her last name, but basically, she was a Muslim who turned into an atheist, who is now Christian. And she's just about to have a debate with Richard Dawkins, and Richard Dawkins said, how can you be Christian? Because if you're a Christian, you need to believe in some key things like the resurrection of Jesus, and that Jesus is the actual Son of God, and that he was born of a virgin, which Richard Dawkins, thinks are ridiculous claims and beliefs and that. And he said you need to believe in that to be a Christian. And instantly I thought, this isn't what necessarily I think is a Christian in my world. Now you might say I'm not a Christian, but what I would say is my beliefs are, I believe in God. I believe that Jesus' teachings are the best ways of entering heaven, whether that be heaven in the afterlife or heaven on earth, take your pick. But I believe that Jesus' teachings are the best guidance for anybody to live a good life. That's what I believe. That makes me a Christian. Now, do I believe the Bible in the literal sense of what some people in the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, whatever you want to call it, wrote stories about what Jesus said and how they interpreted and what they saw and what they believe and how that's all interpreted? Is it literal in that sense? I don't know. But what I will say is, I believe in God and I believe in Jesus' teachings. I believe in heaven and hell as being places that you end up on earth if you either follow a life of sin or a life of virtue. You end up living in heaven or hell. That's kind of what I believe, yeah, loosely. I still class myself now as being Christian because I follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, yeah, because I've listened to all these different self-help books and different gurus and self-help masters and people that I've been inspired by and motivated by, influenced by, like people who I've read books on and podcasts I listen to and all that sort of stuff. And I'm always trying to boil it down to what is the key principles in life to make it so simple. And when you boil it down and you look at Jesus' teachings, that's it. That it's as simple as it goes. Love yourself. Love your neighbours as if you love yourself. Love God. Give all your praise to God, whatever you believe that God is. Honour the gift that God has given you with your body, and forgive your enemies, turn away from sin, repent, in other words. All these things are like boiled down key tenets. If you live this life, you will live a good, wholesome life, and you get rewarded with good things happening to you, and you start to understand and appreciate the things that actually matter in life, not the materialism and all this sort of stuff. And it's such a nice, like, I've listened to things about near-death experiences, and that kind of was the linchpin for me that made me believe actually that I think there is an afterlife, because of this guy who I listened to who said he's had this many, he's interviewed thousands of people who've had near-death experiences, and the commonalities between them are so true and distinct that it's hard, you can't ignore it, that they all experience. Okay, there's some outliers out there that have different experiences, but there's that many commonalities of the same thing happening that you can't discredit that. And that gives me hope. It gives me like hope, and it gives me a bit of a sense of ease that you know, as long as, and if it is true, heaven and hell, why is it so wrong to live a nice life, being nice to people and acting in kindness and compassion and love? Why is that such a bad thing? And if being free is equals living a life of sin, as in just doing what you want and partying and taking any drug or drink under the sun, or treating people with hostility, or living an immoral life, is that really freedom? Or is it just a belief in freedom? You know what I mean? And if it's not that literal that when you die this is what happens, but I believe that there's a source that we all go to, an energy, and I can't, you know, and that's just what I believe. So when I look into it and I look at these beliefs, it leans towards Christianity. I don't think you need to literally believe that God, that Jesus was executed, crucified for our sins, and he risen from the dead. Like, these are just I believe that it happened, but I'm not so sure about the supernatural events that happened around that. Are they metaphors? Are the parables? Are they that? Are they? I don't know. I do not know, and no one knows. This is the thing. But what I do in my heart believe is that there is a God, and that Jesus' teachings are the best form of living your life. So in my head, that is Christianity. I follow Jesus. Yeah. As mental as that sounds to some people, but that's what I believe, and that I believe that makes me a Christian. Whether I'm a extreme Christian and I follow a church, I don't believe that you've got to go to church. If I'm completely honest, I do go to church every now and again, all different types of churches, because I don't want to be pigeonholed into one branch where they believe in one sort of this and they disagree on this and that. Jesus didn't write a book, and whatever you read in the Bible is not from his hand. It's accounts of people that listen to him, so that can be skewed. And listen, I work in construction, where, let me just compare this to that. I go and tell someone this is what I want, a designer will draw it on paper, and then a builder will build it. 9 times out of 10 it's not the thing that I conveyed, because everybody has their own little interpretations and their little, like, the way that they look at things. So I believe that could happen. Unless I was physically sat with Jesus right now, I couldn't, or actually witnessed it with my own eyes, I couldn't tell you if that was true. And let's be frank, I mean, let's look at it. Even when you look at like magicians like Dynamo and David Blaine and Derren Brown, who can do all these freaky stuff and trick you and make you think you see stuff and, you know, all this sort of stuff. I'm not saying that Jesus was doing that, but who knows that these miracles weren't part of that. And I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it isn't. So before anyone jumps on me, I'm just trying to say that this could be something that's happening with her. So I want to be clear that I believe I'm a Christian because I follow them values, and I don't believe that you have to believe certain things to be. And I don't believe that you have to go to church. I believe that God is present with everybody whenever you want to have that conversation. Call it the force, whatever you want to call it, the universe, the law of attraction, whatever it is. I believe if you've got this in your heart and you can have that conversation with yourself in your heart and in your mind, I believe that is your church. And I take comfort in that as well, and I get great guidance from when I do, and things like it just puts my mind at ease with the general day-to-day stresses, when I just think I can just say, what would Jesus recommend I do here? What would God want from me right now? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that God is like a spiritual vending machine, and he's not a genie that I can ask for wishes. I just believe that it's in us. Oh, I'm back. So yeah, I mean, I've gone on for 10 minutes now, and I just wanted to talk about that, about what I believe me being a Christian is. And when Richard Dawkins said that, I didn't agree that to be a Christian you need to believe quite literally in that. I believe that a lot of denominations of the church or will believe that, but I believe, if I'm honest, I think if Jesus was about today and I had this conversation with him, I don't think he'd be saying, no, you're wrong and you're going to get to hell. I think he'd be like, that's perfect. As long as you are trying your best to not lead a sinful life, and you're being good to other people, and you're being good to yourself, and you're forgiving your enemies, and all the stuff that he taught, I think he'd be absolutely fine with that. And if God is real and that comes from a place of love, how can you deny that would not warrant you to get into heaven? That mentality. Whereas I think, okay, what if you are an atheist, and what if you do believe there's nothing? What does that really benefit you? What does it really, really benefit you? Apart from like saying this is like finite, and whatever happens to me on this planet ends when I die, and what good does that do to you? Really? What benefit does thinking, okay, there's no God, so what? Are you still going to follow Jesus' teachings, or are you going to just do whatever you want and to hell with it? Like, I don't understand why people have to bicker and argue over common sense and moralities. And if a lot of people say, yeah, well, we've got a duty to tell people as a Christian that what they're doing is wrong and they're going to go to hell and all that sort of stuff. It's like, the way I've always believed in like spreading the word is by what Jesus says, let your light shine, as in let your good deeds show what you are all about, rather than just saying stuff, because anyone can say stuff but they do the complete opposite, or not live the life that they're trying to preach. Now, I don't go around telling people and being really preachy about it. Yeah, one thing I really am trying not to be as a Christian is preachy, and the reason I do that is because I don't want people to look at me and go like, oh yeah, I'm all about God and Jesus and that now, and then to start having these silly arguments saying, oh God, do you believe that he was born of a virgin, and like he floated off into heaven and all this sort of stuff. I'm trying to be like, no, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus' teachings, and that's it. And if that makes me a better person, why am you bothered? But for the people that I'm generally like, wow, I can see how everything's changing in life, what's happened then, if you don't mind me asking, and I can say, well, I've gone on this journey and I've ended up coming to this conclusion that I believe in God and I believe in Jesus' teachings, and that's it, and I'm trying to follow that, and it's making me a better person. And if they go, wow, well, maybe I should try that, you never know, they might think, oh, he's a nutter or that, but I lead by example, and if people ain't happy with that, they ain't happy with that, so whatever, it's working for me, it's making me a better person, making me a better father, making me a better partner, and that's it. People can do whatever they want, in my opinion. It's not for me to judge anyone or for me to preach to anyone. It's for me to just be like what Gandhi says, and it be the change that you want to see in the world. And then if someone sees it and recognises it and think, I wonder what he's doing, and maybe I should take a leaf out of his book. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to see Jesus and see the light to believe that there's a creator that's bigger than us, bigger than anything, and that Jesus' teachings are actually probably the thing that gets us to world peace, heaven on earth. Because the way that we're going at the minute in this world, it ain't working, is it? You know what I mean? Rampant like drug abuse to try and escape a life that hasn't been very good to them. wars going on left, right and centre, people stabbing each other, and you know what I mean? Like when people always go back to like, yeah, but the Christians did the Crusades, where there's a lot of killing. Like, yeah, but I don't think Jesus would have promoted that, to be honest. You know what I mean? I believe that Jesus wouldn't mind you acting in self-defence, although he says, turn the other cheek. If someone slaps you, turn the other cheek. But I believe that if someone is attacking me and my family, I've got the right to defend myself. Does that not make me a good Christian? I don't know. But that's just what I believe at the minute. And I think that's morally justified. So I don't know there, but I'm going to keep on doing that. So yeah. So that's where I'm coming from. Yeah. So I think if oh, there was one more point I was going to make, and I forgot about it, but never mind. But that's just my position on it. That's my position on religious beliefs and what I believe. So there you go. So yeah, I'm going to leave on that one then. So yeah, take care. I'll see you later. Ciao.